Next one's about having flat feet. When I was a kid, people noticed that I walked crooked. Then nature got closer, look, they found I was flat-footed. Your feet are far too flat, they said, you'd never pass a medical. Your feet are the wrong shape, they said, they need to be more spherical. Your feet need to be tough, they said, your feet should have a curve. Your feet look fucking rough, they said, no purpose will they serve. Your feet are like sheets of A4, your feet are pancake flat. Your feet are the flattest I've seen before, your feet are like an old man's hat. Your foot looks like a broken branch and needs a doctor's view. When I see what age of your legs, it makes me want to spew. Your feet are bloody terrifying. Your feet give me a fright. Your feet remind me of Frankenstein, they keep me up at night. Your arches are in a state, they said, your trotters should swerve like a disc. Your feet look like roadkill, they said, your feet are on the piss. Your feet look like they're trapped beneath a huge enormous weight. Your feet should never bend, they said, your feet are flat like a plate. You're rushing up with this worst enemy, a podiatry nightmare. Your feet have all gone wrong, they said, your feet give me a scare. Your feet are tone deaf, out of key, your feet are not imperfect. Your feet are starting to trouble me, your feet ain't even worth it. I learned to live with my out of shape, walked bent and deformed bone. My knees were banged together as I hobbled my way home.
I'd always written poetry, but I never really thought of it as poetry. I was just writing stuff down, and I never thought any of it was any good, so I didn't show it to anybody. And then when I was like 27, I did an open mic, just as a one-off. I didn't think I'd ever do it again. And then when I went there, I'd never been to anything like that before. And I thought, because I didn't think the stuff was any good, that people would tell me to get off or say they didn't like it or whatever. But I noticed when I was there, people were doing these quite personal poems, quite dark poems. And I thought, like, I'm here now, I might as well. I had an urge to sort of share. So I did 2 of the older personal ones, and then this one about Partygate. And that combination of doing the like more heavy stuff, ending on one that's more light-hearted. There's something about it that I like, that kind of mood swing throughout the set, you know. And I thought that would be it, but then people asked me to come and do it again, and I was quite reluctant because I thought I'm not a poet, and sooner or later, you know, they're going to see like it's not. Yeah, they're not going to like it. But then I thought maybe if other people want to see it, it doesn't really matter what I think of it, in a way. So I thought I'd give it a go, because also I thought memorising poems could be good for like brain training sort of stuff, you know. So every month I'd memorise like 4 or 5 new poems and do a new set every month, and I did that for a couple of years. And it was always that of having the like personal dark poems, which were a big release, and then ending on one that made people smile maybe, or made people laugh, you know. And I always thought that the humorous ones were like a throwaway thing, and that they didn't have a value, and maybe the only reason people were smiling and laughing was because I'd stopped talking about the dark stuff, you know. But then I got asked to do a gig supporting a band, and they said, could you just do the humorous ones? And I was quite surprised, but I thought, you know, maybe there's something in that, you know. So I did them, and I thought, what's the point in this, you know, because I didn't have that urge to express that personal stuff anymore. Why am I doing this, you know? And this little publisher had asked me to put out a book of poems, and I'd said no a couple of times. I'd considered putting out the personal poems, but I didn't feel like the humorous ones were something I was going to do, and I thought, no, I won't put out the personal ones, and I thought about knocking on the head. And then I thought, if people want to hear the humorous ones, because a few people said, like, when you're doing a book, I'll buy a book. So I just thought I'll put those all in a book, sell it as cheap as I can make it, and give all of the profit to Mind, so that in a small way it's going full circle, in that the poetry helped my mental health, helped me express and share and let out, you know, energy, like anger or whatever at the time. And then when I didn't need to do that anymore, the poetry in some small way can help other people's mental health. You know, a little tiny bit on the day, if it makes people smile or whatever, makes people laugh, and in an also small but slightly more by like giving the money to Mind. I would have liked to do it to like a grassroots sort of charity, if I'm honest, but I thought, like, Mind, everyone knows what it is, do you know what I mean? And some people might say, I've not heard of this group, like, where does the money go or whatever, you know, but that one, they do a lot of genuine good, and it's, everyone knows what it is, you know.
This one's about bed bugs. Bugs that live inside your bed, bugs that crawl around your head. You wish the fucking bugs were dead. Bugs that leave you seeing red like minor threat. The bugs that is asleep they took just like a crook. Tried to read your book, then you took a look down and the bugs left you shook like Captain Hook. Bad laugh plan like Peter Pan, skull rock, blowing up ticking clock, all over my back and tailbone. Get ya, I hope I don't see the bugs later. Hepatera, anger generator. In a wild crocodile, bugs put your tempo on trial. Raging, turning up the dial. Bugs that live inside your bed, bugs that leave you filled with dread. I'd rather sleep out in the shed, pain worse than a broken leg. Doctor dosed me up with medical grade clown. There's nothing off danger, waxy candle holder like Slade. Benzo eases the bugs tickle, fleeting fickle bed fellow, puked yellow, life was mellow, then oh hello. Uninvited, I was benighted, how I see the light, it switched on when I started screaming. Bugs interrupting my lucid dreaming. No, I went what, no unconscious screaming. No, I did not awake beaming. It doesn't rain, it's fucking teeming. This'll take hours and days of cleaning, not to leave the place shiny and gleaming, but eradication through red hot steaming. The river then saved our pesky bed bugs, causing madness as if their name was sucks. You're the food the bugs were fed, bugs that make you wish you fled. Pissed off red line like a stolen pet, bugs that live inside your bed.
As I've learned more about poetry and the poetry scene and that, I think that poetry is something that is for everybody, anybody can do it. Like, I remember John Cooper Clarke said, like in an interview I heard him say, you know, absolutely anyone can write a poem, you know, and he's right. There's deaf poets and there's blind poets, you know, you see poets signing at open mics and stuff like that, and you know, just put a few words together and it's a poem. Like, who's to say what is or isn't a poem other than just a few words, you know? And I also think that the culture is different. Like, some people will not see it the same way as me, and have a different idea of what poetry is, you know, which is fair enough. But for me, what poetry is total raw expression. It's different to stuff like music, where, say, if you play in a band, you know, you generally like pick up an instrument, maybe learn to play an instrument, have a jam with some mates, and you're thinking like, maybe we could do a band, you know, and get it together. Poetry often just appears in people's heads. You know, it's the same with me. Like, you get a couple of lines and they just sit in your head, and then if you write them down, the rest just comes. And in half an hour, it's done, and you just leave it, you know. And maybe when you're memorising it, you might change the odd bit, but it's just as it was in that 20 minutes, half an hour, it sort of come out. So it's not really something you sort of plan for me. Like, it's just there, you know. And also, I think often with music and maybe other sorts of art, like, people, they do it to be, you know, they want it to be different or something. Like, people will often say, you know, that band, they're alright, but I've heard it before, or they're not doing anything new, stuff like that. Whereas poetry, for me, like, if you said something that's been said a million times before, but it was the honest truth and it was coming from the heart, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if it's original or anything, you know. It's not often, for me anyway, not put together as this piece that's meant to be something or meant to be good or improved upon. It just is what it is, you know what I mean? It's just something that appears.
This one's about a radio station that plays the same songs over and over again. They play it in a lot of workplaces. Through the days and up all night, shopping centre and building site, the constant playing radio station rejoices in the celebration of the same repeating 20 songs. Once upon a time they were number ones. They play them until our brains are dust. In Heart FM we put our trust. Heart FM all day long, why would we need a different song? Heart FM constant play, Heart FM Groundhog Day. Beating hearts, top 10 charts like playing darts. Triple 20, no thanks for beat, they always sing from the same hymn sheet. It makes my mind feel toxic, rock set, listen to your heart when it's calling to you. There's nothing I'd like less to do. Total eclipse of the brain, fart, internal organ, body part. This endless repetition is rough, disc jockey, play some other stuff. Heart FM show us compassion, you're playing these songs more than our ration. This radio station requires self-medication. Heart FM, you're driving me away from sobriety. Please just give us at least some variety. It's hearing this jumpy record tough. Me too, like T2, I'm heartbroken without your love. I'm heartbroken because I've had enough. I'm heartbroken, I don't know what to say, I've never felt this way. Please start playing some different artists. Oh no, the radio is gaining influence over me. Paying the penalty like Southgate, frustrate mind pollution, 45 revolution. Grab your catapult, this is revolting, like the chartists. It sends you more crazy than Looney Tunes. 5 LPs or 60 tunes. It's too many songs for me and use. You don't get to pick and choose. Heart FM is the drug that the bosses use. Mind numbing's what Heart FM is for. Like Summer or 1984. Brave new station, what do you think? Heart FM pushes the mind to the brink. Cardiology, thought criminology, brainwash psychology. No apology for this last resort, my pop pathology. Longing for silence, violence in the mind. Maybe we're better off deaf than blind. And teaching workers all aboard this one-way trip to the psych ward. Emulate the same behaviour, but reception is our only saviour. Vesicular sanity test, give this cardiac arrest. Earworm, brain churn, day in, day out, what's this about? I know the lyrics, I've gone from cynic to enthusiast. And I'm gassed when for the 50th time that day I hear Bieber. I've spent so long in a place that I'm a believer. These days I find while I'm in the car, I don't have to travel far. Before I cave and switch the station to the favourite channel of the nation. The familiarity does something for me, when the roads are bleak and stormy. You could say it's going on me a tad, I stop being such an angry lad. It no longer seems to make me mad, I found you're not so bad.
It's definitely, spoken word poetry is definitely an accessible platform, because if you have no gear, no equipment to make anything, no tools to make anything, no time to put anything together, even, you know, just got a few hours, you can just write the poem on the spot and it just appears and it takes on this life, doesn't it? Like when you perform it, it's then this thing that is everyone's. Do you know what I mean? I think it's just real talking without the barriers we put up between each other, you know. Obviously the stuff I do is just silly now, like, you know, a lot of it's just talking about silly stuff, like, you know, scabies and dogging and, you know what I mean, just daft things. A lot of it's true stories or from true stories, or you know, things that have happened or people you've encountered along the way. I never try to make it sound a certain way or anything like that. And I think there's so many people out there that feel they can't say what they've got to say in conversation, or they're not listened to, or they just can't express it in words. But somehow in a poem, which is just words, but it's like it has a beginning and an end, you know, and it's just like in that moment they can get across what they've got to say somehow. There was times when I had these words come into my head that had some like wordplay or referencing and stuff like that, and it was at a time of, you know, stress or something like that, you know, some intense feeling or negative feeling or something, and it like I don't know how, but I couldn't do it now. I wouldn't be able to think of those connections now somehow.
This one's a true story about a skinhead in Hastings back in the day. They had a job we all thought was pretty ironic, all things considered. This one's called Skinhead Dave. There's a gentleman in a seaside town, you can't tell when he wears a frown because he shaves off every inch of his hair. Passers by all stop and stare. Even his eyebrows get the razor. He's a scary bloke, but don't let it faze ya. Combi DMs, Levi jeans, tightly turned up at the seams. Out of your lazy, shaved off his name. Skinhead Dave is his name. But the funny thing about this fella with his cold board head out whatever the weather is, you never guess what his job is. His mates can't help but take the piss. Every morning, rain and shine, he's there on the production line. Bottling up, couldn't give a fuck a fast. Tiny bottles all in a row. The benefits of them he'll never know. What a way to spend his time, grafting, thinking these will never be mine. Despite his total lack of air, Skinhead Dave works in a shampoo factory, I swear.
In an open mic, everyone's just sharing, being honest, being vulnerable, listening to each other. You know, if the rest of the world was always like that, you know, I think it'd be a better place. You know, and it's just one place where people could come and be real, but also be kind. You know, like, not ridiculing each other, having patience with each other, hearing what each other has to say, trying to understand what each other has to say. And it won't always be you know, happy. Like, you know, I feel poetry is just, if that's what life could be, then that's what a poem is. You know, there'll be light and there'll be dark, and there'll be happiness and there'll be bits that's not so good. That's why people say it like it's a sort of comedy. I don't think of it like that because it's never written for a punchline. But if you talk about certain things, obviously it does have humour. But yeah, it's from real life, so there'll be ups and downs within it, I suppose. Yeah.
This is back when I got asked to do a set at a hippie market. Lovely people, nice place, I had a good time. But I did this song about diarrhoea. A couple of them didn't like it. They told me to get off and made clear that I wasn't allowed to perform there anymore. It's fair enough, that poem's disgusting. It's just about the thoughts you get in your head when you get banned. It's got banned from the hippie market. Banned from the hippie market. The poetry was too anarchic. Banned from the hippie market, cause I wasn't on a magic carpet. If I drove a hybrid, I would park it. Obscenity triggers, click sparking. I was jumping like Mario, fighting Bowsers. They did Reiki and had parachute trousers. I offended some hippie ladies in blouses. They didn't think I was safe as houses. It shocked a Paul and caused fear when I did a poem about diarrhea. The market couldn't feature redeeming for fear of shit stains and of cleaning. The yoga teachers didn't like redeeming features. I didn't sell crystals or organic peaches. They don't care for vulgar speeches, but this is where the cult leader teaches. Banned from the hippie market, namaste. I never plan on spitting there, all day. Said they only wanted for pastor boys, not people like me who make too much noise. They don't like the bars I choose, and they don't like me cause I wear shoes. The hippies get me off mid-set, I don't listen to psytrance or Duquette. Maybe I'm making a feeling of it, and really they just thought I was shit. Redeeming features, banned from the mic for talking shit. Redeeming features on your bike, redeeming features, take a hike until your features are out of sight.
There were points when, yeah, like, you'd be in a certain way that felt you couldn't get out of it, and you'd be having experiences in your body and experiences in your mind, and you know, life would things would shut down. You couldn't function in society or whatever. I couldn't get through the day, and then you'd take yourself to an open mic, and because I'd memorised all these poems, it was like the ABC, you know, it was like the alphabet, so I just knew them, so I could come and explode with these things that I just remembered. I didn't have to try to remember it because I memorised them, you know, and it was a way of me making that energy of, say, like palpitations and tremors and yeah, moments when you weren't in control, channeling it into a moment when you can scream something you've memorised and it lets it out. And afterwards, you know, it would be like I've been sober for a long time, but it would be like I was on speed or something. Or like genuinely people talk to me, I couldn't hear what they were saying, stuff like that. And you know, I wasn't, yeah, I couldn't properly function afterwards. I wouldn't sleep at all afterwards, stuff like that. It was huge exertion, you know. And my mates and people remember it at the time, you know. And then, yeah, well, I actually had something called EMDR, which is really good. I recommend it for anybody, but that really sorted me out over time. And after that, I just thought it's not going to be authentic for me to do these poems anymore. I could do it in a different way, but it's not like it was. And I had this kind of fresh start of feeling in control of my body, in control of my mind and stuff like that. I felt I could be better for the people around me and things like that. And the humorous poems, they were never something I tried to do. They appeared in and among the heavy ones. For every like 5 or 10 heavy ones, I'd write a humorous one, you know. And then over that period of time, you know, I ended up with this collection of light-hearted poems. And that was the gift, I guess, from that experience of those years when I couldn't control the kind of episodes that would come when you black out and stuff like that. So like, yeah, now from that time I get to come and just have a good time with people and have a laugh, and it's a lot of fun. I'm having a really great time with it, to be honest, you know, going around doing it on the weekends or after work or whatever, and yeah, just having a good time with people. It's like, it feels like party poetry or something, you know what I mean? And I really enjoy that.
I love that.
You know, so like, yeah, it's good, and it's not, you know, going to be for everyone. Like, you know, not everyone wants to hear about, you know, like swellings on your ball bag or, you know, whatever, diarrhea or whatever, you know, like. But that's all real life. That's all stuff that happens, you know. So like all the time when you might look at a poem and be like, oh, am I going to share this? This is like silly or whatever. I'm like, yeah, but it's true. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's about someone who does a thing that you met, you know, or it's about something that's on my body or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is, you know. And it's like, why hide it? Why be embarrassed about it? Like, you know.
Here's that diarrhea poem I mentioned. Diarrhea, loud and clear, living fear, ignition near, terrified and knowing of the constant flowing like a waterfall, a gift from nature or man-made. We are, oops, oh dear, asshole burning like Brighton Pier, shed a tear, exhausted, losing power like King Lear. Way too runny, not so funny, battle atrocity, fucking viscosity, giving, come what may, fecal eruption like Pompeii. Food poisoning, day another day like James Bond, putrid brown pond. Quaking, shaking and stirred, living in constant fear of the dirt. Bog crush, toil, casino royale. Not gonna make it, cubicle scramble, gamble, Texas hold'em, sweat turns cold and legs are folding. Touching clock, feel the broken seal, yesterday's meal. Deal with your hand, keep it in, play the cards right, try and win. Cleanse your hold tight, delirious rooms that spin. Shakespeare arms, poo-stained palms. F1 speed, obscene latrine, pit stop, please stop, lesson learned like Aesop's fable. Stool on both the floor and the table. Cause a mess and then abscond, there's no magic wand. Harry Potter, I forgot the secret spell to escape from this hell. There's no way out, detox, shit out the gout. Evasive manoeuvres, ice cube souvers, discharge oozes. Hear nothing, see nothing, chuff it. The nightmare continues, grab the beat, use anything that is the hand. Referencing power condition to the hardcore band. Look at the poo, it's barely solid, liquid not molded. Harsh words, arses firing at turns with enough bad to score goals. Like poor skulls, red holes, angry souls, death toll. Don't catch it, satch it, move a coal. Yellow and brown, trickling down inside my thigh. Oh, please, why don't get in my eye? Ammonia for rolled over Cardiff to Catalonia. The arse and screech, the shit defeats and stains the sheets, makes us melancholy like kids. Arsehole spurting like toilet seats. Everyone gets it, bakers and leads. Unwanted intrusions from your rear. The curse of explosive diarrhea.
It just got to the point when I was at that first open mic when maybe I was past the point of kind of caring about people knowing the truth, you know, and in my poems that I would confess to all of the things I've ever done that I regret or regretted, you know, all of them, just raw, just say it, just be like, yeah, this is me, and I did do that, you know. It had moments that would be tricky to share, but something about the point I was at before I went on and did it, I felt like it was like the last 5 minutes I was going to be alive at the time. I just felt like that, well, if this is it, any moment it could be it. And I was like, what do you want to be in the last 5 minutes of your life? Do you want to be hiding, or do you want to be just being honest and raw, like who you are and sharing? So I just got up and talked about challenging moments, and then ended with something that made people laugh. I didn't think I'd ever do it again, but when the opportunity come back, I was like, yeah, those are the moments when we're real. You know, it's like being naked, it's like there's nothing you can hide. That's it. It's like, that's why I call it, there's lots of reasons, but redeeming features. You know, it's like, because the poems, like, they are poems and that's all they are. But some people say, it's sort of like a song, because they remind them of punk songs, you know. And you know, I guess it's just a thing. It's just a thing that happens back then. It was a thing that, it's an explosion that happened. It's like, what is it? It's on a night. It's on a stage or whatever. It's sort of just an occurrence. It's like a feature. It's something that's happening in the night. And I felt like it gave me some redemption from me not being the person I should have been. So the poems are my redeeming features.
This is about some crusties who used to live next door to me in Bristol. They had a big horse box truck. They started having orgies in the back of it. There wasn't a lot of room back there, so we ended up with all kinds of arguments and disagreements. It was awful, but they just kept having these parties. This was called horse box orgies. Don't attend horse box orgies. It's never going to end well. You'll find yourself trapped inside a horse box orgy hell. 3.5 tons of vehicle shaking. There's banging and crashing inside. It all seems like fun and games until you have to swallow your pride. Orgies in a horse box, way too tight a space. There's barely room to work out what's an arse and what's a face. Horse box orgies are a disaster waiting to occur. They're arriving us off perspiration, we'll all start to blur. Forget about horse box orgies, you'll share everything that's yours. If one of you's got the clap, you'll all end up with a round of applause. If you receive an invite to a horse box orgy, just say no. Even if you manage to have a good time, your sexual health may pay. Only fools and horses, only disappointment and shame. Horse box orgies are a fucking shit show, the idea is insane. Five-yard vehicle sex parties should only be for horses. It won't strengthen your relationship, they just need divorces. Horsebox orgies are a bad idea, and they descend into violence. All the elation and merriment can swiftly turn to silence. To hell with horsebox orgies, it'll always end in tears. It kicks off more horsebox orgies than you've seen in years. Horsebox sex parties cause mayhem. You never believe what I saw. This melodrama at horsebox orgies stand on Channel 4. Do not frequent horsebox orgies, they're a terrible idea. When people mention them to me, I get the horsebox fear. If you get summoned to a horsebox orgy, you should always negate. Equestrian transportation vehicles are no place to fornicate. Whose bright idea were horsebox orgies? Who thought of this awful game? Find the love in you and save yourself the pain. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's the one moment where you can just be completely yourself. Obviously, you can live your whole life being completely yourself, but you know, it's a moment when people are ready for that in a poetry environment. You know, and then if you take that approach to other places that aren't normal poetry places, people might not be used to it, but why not put it there? I think, like, you know, I still play in punk bands and that, but it can be quite insular a little bit, you know, when I think that music's for everyone, you know, and poetry is a great vehicle for anyone to get up and be themselves and do their thing. It used to be a bigger part of punk and oi, I think, you know, but we were talking about Gary Johnson, you know, like, I think when I was a little kid, some older punks like showed me Gary Johnson, and then I got into Benjamin Zephaniah, Patti Smith, John Cooper Clarke and that. And although I saw these things that I was writing down as just words, I didn't think of them as poems, I suppose, because I was kind of into that. It naturally maybe, I started to see it as that, as just more of a poem than just something I scribbled down, you know.
Give us one more clap sync, just so I can sync it up.
Sure.
Right, in your own time.
Bus lane payments in the mail, a terrible crime beyond the pale. The price I pay, my repentance, 35 quid is my sentence. Bus lane payments, Essex towns, causing grief and raging frowns. Bus lane payments and not again. Bus lane now and bus lane then. I can't seem to stay within the lanes that drivers are giving. Bus lane payments through the post, disappearing, going ghost, not again. What a pain to drive in the bus lane. Bus lane payments on the run. Paying for the bus lane is no fun. Avoiding the authorities, misplacing my priorities. Bus lane, keep your head down. Bus lane, skipping town. Bus lane payments, Groundhog Day. If there's traffic, the bus lane is the only way. Bus lane payments, bus lane payments, even if you're in receipt of benefits. Claimant, indebted, missing your repayment. No point in appealing, becoming a complainant. I fucking hate bus lane payment.
Would you describe your work as political and why?
That's a tough one. I think that word can mean a lot of different things, you know. In the literal way, like, yeah, I did a poem about the coronation. And I did a poem about the Jubilee, stuff like that. Done a poem about being, you know, a young person in the punk scene, and like people, you know, on the far right trying to talk to you and stuff like that, and you know, just, you know, not paying attention to it basically. I think that's still worth saying, you know, today. This one was about when me and mates were teenagers, if we were in between jobs or places to live, I used to say I'd rather be a bum than an arsehole, and sort of became a saying, we started saying it, so yeah, this is about that. I'd rather be a bum than an arsehole. Workplace aggro can take its toll. Boss man, lost man, we all pay the cost man, ice cold man like Jack Frost with a business plan. I'd rather live in chaos than need control. I'd rather sell pills than sell my soul. I'd rather be a scrounger than a thief. I'd sooner have no teeth than deal with a beef. Workplace, time waste, unmet needs, leave sour taste, running out of toothpaste, get that angry look off your face. Gratitude, not attitude. I need the dough, I got nowhere to go and nothing to show, so I'll let you know that I'm done and off I run. Cause the boss don't care about you, so be aware. Never trust the hand that bleeds you. Prioritise the ones who need you. People judge you for claiming the dough. Mark my words, record it, let the cameras roll. Don't let your job leave you in a bottomless hole. I'd rather be a bum than an asshole.